Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs? Excited to be here. I feel like we're recording this on Monday. I feel like it's an interesting morning. Because we got some news that Derrick Henry may have just wrecked his whole foot. And then they said, he's fine. Stuff came back.
It went from he wrecked his whole foot to he's fine. So, he's not actually really fine.
He's not really that fine. He's got to get foot surgery. So he's going to be out for the remainder of most likely the season, but he might be back for the playoffs.
Which, this is a fantasy football show. So for everyone that has him in fantasy, GG to you.
Yeah. So they said 6 to 10 weeks, and 6 is really. I wonder if our friend Adam Hutchison tweeted anything about this. I'll look it up, but if he's out for 6 weeks, then he would be back for week 14, 15. So that would be playoffs. If he's back week 7, then you're playoffs. Week 8 playoff or 8 weeks playoffs, but 9 and 10 you're screwed.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we can talk more about this once we do the intro. But my name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always. What's poppin', Rick?
It's poppin'.
And today, we're bringing you waiver wires for week 9. I can't believe I said week 9.
Yeah.
Fantasy football.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Fantasy football is getting close to it. It's amazing how fast this flies. I hate how every other sport has this wicked long postseason and then the playoffs are great. But it's I guess they draw out the playoffs. NBA playoffs are so drawn out. And I'm like, kill me now.
Yep.
But it's entertaining when you're watching it. It just takes 5 days to get to another game. In the NFL, it feels like the season is over after week 8.
Yeah.
It's like in fantasy football, we get 17 weeks this time around. So 17 games or 16 games that we get to play fantasy football. And if you do a week 17 championship, oh my.
No.
Or week 18 championship, I should say. Is that how it works now?
I guess.
But anyway, so it's week 9.
Psycho.
I can't believe it's week 9. But today we got waiver wire, waiver wire targets for this week. We're going to try to give you the best targets. We got some guys at the running back position, some hobbled running backs, I would say. And we'll give you the best advice that we possibly can. So before we do that, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the socials. Just hit us up on there. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. You're already here. You're listening on your platform. Please leave a review. Share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Click the bell for notices. Like and comment down below. I've been doing this for so long, you think I would have it memorized, but I forget when I'm trying not to look at the sheet. So anyway, let's jump into week 9 waiver wire. But to speak more about Derrick Henry, I haven't seen anything from Adam on Derrick Henry. Oh yeah, here it is.
Okay.
Never mind, I lied.
Oh.
So he said initially Henry was getting looked at by trainers on the sidelines after the Titans' first drive, but he returned to the game and played the majority of the snaps. Based on this wording, would be concerned about fractures. A retweet, fracture or Liz Frank, and he posted that 8 hours ago. And then he posted another video and said, "Here's Derrick Henry's last carry Sunday. Right foot was being examined on the sideline by trainers. Don't see anything here. Where is foot fracture? Sure, we'll hear today or tomorrow." So obviously we know it's not a fracture, but not good news for fantasy managers. I don't think he's coming back before 10 weeks. So
agreed.
What do you do if you are the Henry guy? What do you? I mean, ever since last year, so many IR spots. I'd probably just slap him in there. But what do you do with Derrick Henry at this point? Yeah,
I mean, I would hold on to him just in case he comes back. I think if he comes back, I'm really not sure if he's going to be used like Derrick Henry. Like he's going to get 30 carries. Like, will they ease him into it and then give that workload in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I would still hold on to him though, just in case, because if he does come back, you don't want to just drop him.
Right.
But you still want him on your team. Put him in the IR spot, and let's hope you have waiver budget. Or you got to make a trade.
Yeah.
And hopefully your trade deadline hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it obviously is a huge blow.
Yeah. They're a team. I think I would say first half of the season here. And the first half of the season is so hard to because this is the start of the second half. And, you have teams. I myself have had teams go 7-1, 8-0 to start, and then lose 4 games down the stretch. And so it's you don't want the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season to determine what's going on, but that's pretty much getting you into the playoffs at 7-1. So you're in at this point. It would be hard for you not to make the playoffs in your league, but having Derrick Henry is, I've seen in a lot of leagues, basically winning you weeks. If you have a bad week, he carries you across the finish line. And so I'm kind of mad that I drafted I don't know if I should be mad that I drafted Dalvin.
Yeah, now.
now. But first couple weeks of the season, I was feeling like, dang, I had the number 2 overall pick in our home league, and I didn't take Derrick Henry. I took Dalvin Cook. So either way, it's just one of those things where he was winning you weeks. He was carrying you. He was clearly the RB1 in fantasy football. Stuff that McCaffrey did before last season. You know what I mean? When he was healthy and not hurt. So obviously it sucks to lose that guy, and now you got to figure out what you're going to do for the next 6 to 10 weeks at that position. And if your team, you're going to find out real fast if your team was fraudulent or not. Real fast.
Mm-hmm.
You'll lose right away if your team wasn't actually as good as it was cracked up to be. So anyway, we're going to help you guide you through the running back waiver wire today to help with that running back situation. But either way, ready to get started on waivers, Rick?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with the quarterback position. I'm going to go into a league every week. Every week I go into the wrong league, and I end up telling you the numbers of a quarterback who has a 5-point and 6-point touchdown variable. So I won't do that this week. But either way, there's a couple of guys on the waiver wire. Rick, I'm in a couple of leagues. I'm in a situation where I might have to stream bye weeks and such. What quarterback should I be going after this week?
It's kind of gross. Looking at the list here. Yeah. The guy who's on the top of this list, Tua Tagovailoa, has been actually okay fantasy wise. He's going up against Houston this week. I think that's a good matchup again if he's available. Ever since he came back from injury,
it's not too shabby.
Yeah, I mean it's not good, but it's not he didn't put up an 8-point week. He at least threw a touchdown, threw 200 yards. He did okay. Didn't have any interceptions. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. He did have an interception. He had a rushing touchdown. So yeah, but still not a great week. But again, against the number 1 defense against quarterbacks this year, he was okay. Now he's got Houston, which is a much, much easier matchup. He's a very good streaming option if he's available in your 1 quarterback league. It's funny because the second guy on this list is Justin Fields. What do you think of that?
Interesting. I haven't actually looked at his numbers for the week.
He put up 26 points this week against the 49ers.
Where did the points come from, though? That's the real question.
He had 100 yards rushing.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about, baby.
And a touchdown, yeah.
Pittsburgh,
did you see his rushing touchdown?
Yeah, rushing touchdown. So overall, the big thing that concerns me with Fields is that so he's had some good, somewhat of a rushing floor in the past couple weeks. You had 6 rushing attempts, 8 rushing attempts in week 6 and 7, and he had 43 and 38 respectively in those 2 games. And then you look at week 8, and he has 10 rushes, 103 yards, and a touchdown. So I would say this is not a trend for Fields. Obviously, we know he can rush the football, but he's not rushing for 100 yards every game like Kyler will, or not every game, but that Kyler will put up 70, 80 rushing yards, and Lamar will put up 100, you know what I mean, almost weekly. Justin Fields doesn't look, he should be, I mean, I think with his feet he could do something like that, but he's not trying to do something like that. I don't know if it's the coaching staff or whatever, but you look at the first 3 games, or the first, when did he start starting? Was that week 3?
The Lions game was his first start.
Might have been against Cleveland.
I want to see the. Oh yeah, it was against Cleveland. Yeah.
So going through this, just his passing numbers from week 3 on: 6 for 20, 68 yards.
That was horrible.
11.
That was the first game.
11 for 17, 209 yards, 1 interception.
Mm-hmm.
Did I skip the Cleveland game? I did. He was 20 and 6 for 68 yards against Cleveland. Oh no, see, I'm on the right track. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you had it. Yeah.
And then he had 12 for 20 for 111 yards and 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 16 for 27 for 174, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. 22 of 32 for 184 yards and 3 interceptions, no touchdowns.
That was horrible.
19 of 27 for 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Okay, so here's a big problem with Justin Fields. Love him to pieces. They're not throwing the ball with him.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw him out there, you've got to hope this guy's going to rush the ball.
Yeah. Well, and he hasn't all year, but this week, because he did, do you think it opens the door for them to be like, oh, wait a minute?
Normally, I would say maybe, but the problem is that I want to see trends before I jump a guy in my lap.
Agreed. I agree with you 100%, and it's against Pittsburgh.
100%.
So, personally, I'm not on Fields right now. I will be next year, and maybe even the end of the year. He might be worth a pickup just for that.
But I mean, to have one, you've had how many starts in your career? 6 starts.
Yeah,
and to have 1 200+ yard game and the rest of them being like 100.
This week, I will say, was like his interception. I don't know if you watched the 49ers Bears game.
No,
I think his interception was on the last.
I was watching the insufferable mess that was the Detroit Lions Eagles game.
Oh, I don't know why you did that.
40 points, and Jalen Hurts had 11 fantasy.
I watched about 5 minutes of that game and then shut it off.
You were like, I'm done. See you later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the 49ers Bears game was actually a pretty good game. Mm-hmm. And his interception was like a trash time play where they were just moving. I want to say that it was like a Hail Mary even.
Yeah.
So he actually had a really good game, but it was his first game of the season of the 6 starts where you were like, oh, this looks like a, top
They're
cost.
Just
like
it's not Justin. It's the Bears.
Yeah.
Because he makes some plays where you're just like, what in the freak is this? And it's like that. Look, didn't he have a 40-yard rush to take the lead in the game? Something like that.
Yeah, I mean it was like a 30-something yard rush, but yeah.
But I'm like, he just does things.
And he broke 5 tackles.
So he looks at times he looks really good.
It was like
passing, rushing, whatever it is. But then there are just times where he looks like a rookie quarterback, which is fine. The problem is that Nagy is just babying him so hard. It just he had 6 starts on the year. It took 3 weeks ago for him to get to a point where he was throwing it 25 or more times per game. So I think just for Justin Fields, I love the player. I do believe in him like Rick does, and I think he'll be fine moving forward. In Dynasty, you're fine. In redraft, this year's probably not going to be a good year for him. I would watch trends and see if he keeps going, but outside of that, I'm not uber hyped. If Tua and Justin Fields are out there, Tua's the guy I want.
There's not a whole lot out there. That was the issue, but Tua is definitely number 1 on my list. Mm-hmm. Going through it, it's like Teddy Bridgewater is disgusting.
No, it's not.
Against Dallas, it's not a great matchup either.
I don't know what the Saints are going to do at quarterback because unfortunately Jameis Winston popped his ACL. I feel so bad for against the Bucs too. That was even worse.
I know.
I kind of wanted that guy to that's what I'm saying. They after I don't know if you watched any of that game, but after Winston came out, they put Trevor Siemian in.
Yeah.
They didn't put Taysom in. So I don't know.
Well, no, Taysom's hurt.
Oh, he is?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I was like, why did they do that? So if
he was inactive this week.
Okay, if Taysom plays, are you at all interested in Taysom?
Yeah, I actually would. I would be. I don't know if he's playing. It's at Atlanta.
Oh, frick. Okay.
Yeah, and he's going to run. Remember last year.
Hill's going to go off. I don't even like Taysom Hill. I think he's overrated, but
when he started as a fantasy player though, he's really good because he runs. He's a running quarterback.
But he
got 20 points a week.
I think I would want to. I think. Well, see, that's the thing is there's so much. We've already kind of seen him play. So I was gonna say I want to see him start, and now we know what he looks like because we saw it last year. So it's is it something that we jump out against? Who are they playing this week again? Week 9? Atlanta. Oh, you just said that. I'm sorry. I'm a brickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taysom's not bad.
Yeah, I would start. Tua's still probably number 1, but Taysom would be number 2.
I would say Tua, Taysom, and then go from there. I don't know why people are still telling you to pick up Trey Lance. I'm just over it.
Garoppolo had 30 points this week.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over.
Garoppolo's not gonna. They're not benching him.
At least not right now. I was on the path that if the 49ers lost this week and went 2-5 to start, you don't give up on the season. But if they keep losing with Jimmy G, then you know what? Season's lost. Make the change. Go with your rookie. Yep. Try to get him some reps. Get him some training. All that stuff. But we called on Justin Fields to come into the game and play, right? You called on it. You wanted it, Chicago. You wanted it. Fantasy community, you wanted it. Well, you got it, and you got no fantasy points. The same thing's going to happen with Trey Lance, except it's going to be worse because he's not as polished as Justin Fields is. Stop calling for Trey Lance. Stop telling people to pick him up. I'm so done.
And Garoppolo played really good this week.
Yeah, he was decent. They won, right?
Yep.
Oh, crap. That's unfortunate.
Why?
Now, I say that with because I don't think Trey Lance blows. So I think that people are just overexcited about Trey Lance, and it's we get it. You want to see him play.
If you really like Trey Lance, wouldn't you want him to sit? Because they have
that's what I'm saying.
Some tough games. They have Arizona, the Rams.
Yeah.
And then after that, they got the Jaguars, Vikings, Seahawks, Bengals, Falcons, Titans, Texans.
That's bad.
6 straight weeks of garbage.
Yeah.
7 straight weeks of
garbage. Wouldn't want to do that. Okay, so the only guy that I wanted to reference was did we talk about Deshaun Watson last week?
I think we did. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's not playing though. He's not playing this week.
Yeah. So there was a report, just so everyone knows. There was a report that came out Sunday morning because that's when Ian Rappaport does his top-notch, finest work.
Yep.
And he said that there is no expectation for any team, whether it's Carolina, Philadelphia, Miami, the teams involved in that situation. There is no way that deal happens before Thursday. I think this crap that people have been peddling about there being a deal in place, but Miami being I don't think that actually is a thing. The reporting has been so bad on this. What's actually happening with Watson? He's not getting traded. He's not playing this year. They're going to wait. It would be smarter for Houston to wait until the offseason to trade him.
Yeah.
Because it's
it makes sense.
It's like Back to the Future, an old Western when they're sitting there and it's like a standoff with the gun.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And it's like the NFL standing there we want the news headlines, so we're not going to suspend him or put him on the exempt list yet. So make the trade. And Miami's we don't want to make the trade until we know exactly what's going on with this suspension situation. So it's just a standoff. Nothing's going to happen. And he's going to stay in Houston for a year. At this point, I don't even know if I want Watson in any fantasy.
I know.
If I'm in Dynasty, I'm maybe I should get rid of this guy as soon as he's traded in the offseason. But he's not playing a game this year. I stand by that. I'm done ranting. I'm done ranting now. We should get into something where I'm less intense. You got me started on Trey Lance, and I don't shut up.
You want to go to the running backs?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So, obviously, we just talked about the Tennessee situation. There was a report. I don't get it. Todd Gurley's out there dying. Somebody must have killed him because I don't know what.
I don't know if he's ever playing football again.
Yeah, probably not. I would say probably not. So, obviously, talked about Derrick Henry at the beginning of the show getting hurt. Peterson is out there, and he got signed by Tennessee to their practice squad. You know what's driving me nuts about this new rule with the practice squad where you can sign vets to the practice squad? You get like 1 veteran, 2 veteran spots. It's freaking driving me crazy because before they would have to sign a guy to their legit roster, but now they can play cookie games, get the guy on the field in practice, sign him at the last second, and then we don't know for fantasy whether the guy's going to play or not. So I don't know if they're actually signing him or they're just trying to check him out and see if he's actually going to be good. So bring him on the practice squad for a couple days. This rule's going to go away next year, guaranteed.
Hope so.
But either way, Peterson signed to the practice squad. So whether that's an actual signing or not, is this a guy that you, or we'll throw Jeremy Mick Nichols into this conversation because he's the current active running back too, who takes over for Henry. So of these two guys, which one are you going after, and which one are you more excited about?
It's kind of gross. I think they're going to use both. I would say Jeremy Mick Nichols though. Peterson is 36. I think he's going to get a lot of carries. He's probably not going to be involved. He's going to be like Derrick Henry in a way.
Why is this guy not retired?
A lot of I don't know. I have no idea.
People still.
I wish they said someone else, to be honest. But yeah, he's going to get probably like 10 to 15 carries a game, maybe, and that might be good enough on a weekly fantasy basis. But I'm not sure. Well, McNichols will probably get just as well, like probably 10 carries as well around there. But he's also going to get like 5-6 targets a game. With like 4 or 5 catches a game and half PPR and half PPR value. So if you're in PPR leagues, I would take McNichols. Half PPR, it's close. I would also take McNichols in a standard league. Maybe you take Adrian Peterson, but I don't know. They're both gross. I think they should both be owned, though. They should both be picked up. Whatever happened to Darrington Evans? Is he hurt?
I believe he is the 3rd or 4th guy. That's a good question.
Oh, he's on. He got placed on IR last week.
OG, like for real, or is that?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a
season
3-week IR though. It is.
Yeah, it's a season ending 3 days ago. I didn't even know about that.
Okay,
See,
so yeah,
no one would have known about that until today. So it's Mick Nichols, okay?
It's Mick Nichols. It's all about Mick Nichols. All right.
Honestly, at this point in the year, if you're desperate for a running back, just dump your waiver budget on Jeremy McNichols.
Agreed.
Now,
I think
I would say this.
Though, I would still pick up Peterson if Mick Nichols is gone because he's gonna get work too. I don't know how much.
I feel like people are going to. Okay, not in your fantasy opinion, but in your predictive, like insight.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the guy that everyone's going to dump their waiver budget on? Like, who will be more highly picked up at the end of the day? You swipe over in your sleeper app and you see trending.
In your standard home league, like redraft league, it's Peterson, I think.
Okay. All right. Right now, in leagues where
I know it's McNichols.
It's McNichols. But I think they're just finding out about Peterson.
In your like generic home league is what I'm saying, because they use trends for pickups like right now and what people are trying to pick up.
That's not
by the time like Wednesday comes around, you're in your ESPN league, like it's going to be Peterson. Peterson's going to be the guy that everybody's picking up because he's the name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
In more like experienced leagues, I don't know. It might be 50-50. Maybe more people go McNichols, but yeah.
Now to add into the, I feel like the show's going to be a little longer. It's ridiculous, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
To lean into that Tennessee situation, there's another variable that you have to tie in. The trade deadline is Tuesday.
That's why I'm not putting in any claims until Tuesday night.
Ronald Jones is. Ooh. I think he could be available. He is just relegated to 0. Like, he's out. Brady likes Giovanni Bernard. Snooze James White. And whoever the crap the first back was is Leonard Fournette at this point. If Tennessee trades for Ronald Jones, I mean, I would do anything.
Yeah, I would dump a budget on Ronald Jones if that happens.
All of it, every penny.
A lot of it, yes.
But I will say, I don't know. I'm gonna look up rumored guys, but what do you do about that situation? So does that limit Jeremy McNichols or Adrian Peterson's like actual value for you? If Ronald Jones gets picked up, because you'll know. By the way, you'll know. Trade deadline's tomorrow or Tuesday or today at 4:00. So you'll know whether or not this guy is going to, whether the team is going to, trade for a running back. But right now, just knowing this, does this affect your waiver budget situation for either one of these guys?
If theoretically, because right now we don't know as we're recording this. Theoretically, let's say they trade for Ronald Jones, then yeah, obviously I wouldn't pick up Peterson. I think Peterson becomes the RB3, and he's just like there for insurance, kind of like Le'Veon Bell on the Ravens. Mm-hmm. I think Mick Nichols stays in the role he is. Maybe has a more increased role, gets more carries. Like Derrick Henry got like 30 carries a game. Ronald Jones wouldn't get 30 carries a game, but Ronald Jones could get like 15 to 20 carries a game. Which would make him extremely fantasy relevant and probably an RB2, maybe like a high end RB2. So yeah, I mean, Ronald Jones becomes like a very, very high commodity. Yeah. And I think Mick Nichols would still have a little bit of fantasy value.
The other guy that is being rumored in trades right now is Marlon Mack.
Which makes no sense to me. Why would the Colts help the Titans?
It would not make sense. So, but I was just throwing that out there as an extra guy.
Theoretically, yeah, I think Mack would be a great pickup as well because he was probably similar to Ronald. Would probably get like 15 carries a game.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think I 100% agree with you. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. So Ronald Jones, see, some of these websites, man, you go on them, it's like potential trade. So Ronald Jones makes sense. Marlon Mack would make sense if the Colts were winning the deal. Yeah. But it's not going to happen. So this one says Miles Sanders and David Montgomery.
What?
Why? This guy says Khalil Herbert has come out of nowhere as a reliable running back for Chicago. What?
There's a lot of people that think he's better than Montgomery, but I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's some running backs out there. I think this is why I'm not convinced that Peterson is going to come in and be like this guy who gets a ton of opportunity. I think that right now, like if you're Tennessee and you're their GM, like you're going, we need a running back stat. So because it's what the whole offense is kind of predicated on. So it's like I'm thinking that a deal is going to happen before you start putting claims in on like Mick Nichols and Peterson. I would honestly just wait, see what happens, and then put your claims in after 4 tomorrow.
I mean, like, what would it take to get Ronald Jones? Like, they're not going to have to give up a first or second. Probably not even a third. Maybe. What did you say? 6?
Yeah.
I think it might cost them a little more. Like maybe like a
Sony go for. That's the equivalent. I think
Sony went for a 4th.
Freaking A, Bill. What the heck did you?
Yeah.
Like, goodness gracious.
But I would trade a 4th.
Somebody not telling me something about Sony?
If I was the Titans, I would trade a 4th, and if I was the Bucks, I would trade Ronald Jones for 4th. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, both ways. I don't think it happens. I don't know. Maybe I'm lower on running backs than NFL GMs, and that's saying something.
Yeah,
but we'll see. The problem is we won't get into contract conversations with that guy. But anyway, so they're the Tennessee running backs. Boston Scott is probably still available. Weird situation over there in Philly. We told you to start Kenneth Gamewell, and I think everyone in society probably told you to start. So it's not just us. You judge us. You go read everyone else's stuff, and you can hate on everyone.
I lost some money this week because I started.
So Boston Scott had 18 fantasy points.
Kenneth Gamewell was in the doghouse.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
And nobody knew. Yeah.
Jordan Howard came in. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. So this is just this is a weird game for Philly. And I don't really know because I heard from somebody that Kenneth Gamewell did get 13 carries, and I believe he had.
It was
catches.
All in the 4th quarter.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, he had all 13 carries in the 4th quarter.
They were using him with Sanders, and I'm not sure why Gainwell is just out at this point. I don't understand. But he had 13 touches, and you said they were all in the 4th quarter.
I think he had a couple late in the 3rd, but like he had, I think 10 or 11 carries came in the 4th quarter.
That was just, I don't understand. They didn't pass it a lot, and that's kind of where Gainwell has been involved.
But it was still Boston Scott was like
passing attempts.
He had every snap almost. It was just Gainwell did not have a snap in the first half. So
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
Are you interested in Boston Scott?
I guess. It's kind of gross.
Yeah. I just don't know what Philly's going to do.
And Sanders will be back in like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what Philly's going to do either. Yeah. I mean, I would pick him up, but it's still gross.
Mark Ingram got traded to New Orleans, goes back home to where, not where it all started, but I guess where he kind of established himself. He gets traded to New Orleans. I'm not really sure what the deal is with this. This week against Tampa Bay, he played in the game, had 6 carries, 2 catches. Didn't really get a whole ton of opportunity. Don't know if that's because he just got back. He's been there before, so there's no real like holding period to be like, okay, you have to figure it out. I don't understand Houston, by the way. What the frick are you doing signing Mark Ingram and then trading him midseason? Like,
I think that was the whole point because they knew they were going to be bad. So it's like a free draft pick.
That's fair.
It's like
I mean, trading him makes sense, but signing him and then trading him halfway through, like,
dude, that's what I would do in Madden. If I was a rebuilding team, sign like an old crappy player, trade him in week 6. Yeah,
somebody makes it through free agency on Madden. Yeah. Are you interested in Mark Ingram?
Not really, but I mean, he might have a little bit of standalone value. But
if he ends up getting the same like workload that he did, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way, that he did when it was him and Kamara, he could have that value. But he's just a different running back now. Like he was done last year in Baltimore when he had all that opportunity. So exactly, yeah. I think he's here for a specific role. And he's going to spell Kamara at times, and then he's going to leave the game. I don't think he's going to be anything special.
He's going to what he did this week. I think is probably what he's going to do. He's going to get like 8 to 10 touches a game, and so Kamara is going to get like 20 to 25.
Not hella interested in that. Outside of that, I don't really like any of the running backs left. Not a whole lot of depth there, but let's get to the...
Although if James Robinson is out, Carlos Hyde...
Yeah, possibly. That would be a good pickup. Who are they playing?
I think he has an ankle sprain, but... this week they play Buffalo. Yeah.
Okay. Quickly through the wide receivers and the tight ends. It's funny to see Brandon Nyuk on the wide receiver rankings on Fantasy Pros. I mean, waiver rankings on Fantasy Pros at 5. He's been that bad.
That's crazy. He's owned in less than 50% of leagues.
That's crazy. And you know, for in the home league, just can't let go of him. Can't let go of him in our league, because why would you do that? Oh my God, his schedule is so easy down the stretch. He did have 7 targets this week.
He did, but Debo is clearly the...
pick him up. Roster him.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Sure.
Anyway, Rashad Bateman is number 1 on this list. Honestly, a lot of these wide receivers, if you don't have a good set of wide receivers sitting on your bench, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah, like what are you doing?
If Calvin Ridley really is like done, at least for the rest of the season, with this whole... Did you see that?
Yes, yeah. I did.
So, anyway, he posted that he needs to like miss a bunch of time for mental health, and he's going to step away from the game for a little bit, which doesn't spell good things. A, for his career, and B, for like if you step away from football, that means that you're stepping away, and so like I don't think he's going to be training.
Right.
So anyway, either way, does that elevate Russell Gage?
You know, that's what you would think. He did not have a target this week. And he was not hurt. He had 68% snap percentage. He played in 36 offensive snaps, but did not record any stats during the Falcons' 19-13 loss to the Panthers on Sunday.
Yikes.
So he did not have a single target.
Uh-huh.
Kyle Pitts had 6 of them. I think he was the lead guy in targets. Or actually, it might have been Cordell Patterson, which is so disgusting. But I would say no. I mean, well, I guess he is in a way, but it's still gross. Like, I think the Falcons as a whole is just kind of gross and pretty garbage. Let's see. Yeah, TJ Sharp had 5 catches. Cordell Patterson had 5 catches. Mike Davis had 5 catches.
And then
even targets, 2 catches.
Pitts didn't even play good.
No, he didn't. He only had 2 catches. He had 6 targets, though. So.
Yeah, your target share is good.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, I would throw a shot at him at least. You don't need to put waiver budget, because I doubt he's going to be like somebody that, I mean, who knows? maybe people go a little sweaty on him and they just start dumping waiver budget. No idea, but I don't think he's a bad pickup.
Yeah, he's okay. I'm not putting any money on him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Devonte Parker, it's surprising to see him on this list. Back, one good season, back to normal for Devonte Parker. He's had some good games and some bad games. He has been getting target share, so if he's available, I would take that.
He hasn't even been that bad.
No, he hasn't. But the big issue with Parker at this point for me is that schedule down the stretch, and he really isn't that great against bad
it's also
I should say.
Will Fuller has not played this year. I think he's played one game.
Yeah.
1 game and a half.
And in those games he's had
a healthy Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle, is he gonna put up big numbers? I don't know.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. They said he's not gonna practice this week, Will Fuller, so might be a good option to slide into your lineup, or not slide into your lineup, pick up for this week just to see what happens.
Yeah. He should be. Devonte Parker should be on rosters.
Yeah, he should be on rosters. And then Gallup, did he play this week? Because it didn't look like it.
I don't know. He did not play this week.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't.
All right, because I saw it. Cedric Wilson was catching passes. And okay, what?
Yeah, I saw that.
Michael Gallup. Anyway, is there any other wide receivers you want to talk about?
No, that's probably it.
Okay, I kind of a gross wide receiver list this week.
Hey, Elijah Moore, 2 straight weeks, 10 points.
Oh, yay!
Second half breakout.
Mike White, just elevating him.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
400 yards and 4 touchdowns to beat the Bengals. My goodness.
Didn't he also have 3 interceptions? I mean, not that it matters.
Dude, the Bengals doing Bengals things out here, right? They had the game in their hand, right?
That was so.
4 minutes left. Run the ball with Joe Mixon. First play of the drive.
They throw a pick six.
No, it wasn't a pick six. It was a deflection on the line of scrimmage. He was trying to throw a screen pass, so Burrow turned around, didn't see the lineman, and the guy whacked it up in the air and caught it himself. I was like, oh my god, what are you doing throwing the football?
I know it wasn't his fault, but wasn't it a pick six? I thought he took it to the end zone.
Nope.
Oh, he didn't.
Yeah,
they did score on that possession, didn't they?
Yeah, they scored on the possession.
Okay.
But either way, it was such a dumb thing. I was like, you guys are stupid. But anyway, tight ends. Anybody, Rick? Give us one tight end you want.
Oh my gosh, I don't even have the list. Hold on. Why is Logan Thomas on this list? Did people drop him? I guess go pick him up because he's coming back this week.
Yeah. He
had 10, 7, and 10 first 3 weeks of the season, then got hurt.
Okay.
So, I mean, you pick him up. I mean, he gets 10 points a week. That's pretty good for a tight end. I think that's where the list ends, to be honest with you.
I would agree. Depending on what Ingram does on Monday Night Football, maybe him. Conklin has also kind of been involved in that.
Dan Arnold had 10 targets,
Who?
8 catches. Dan Arnold.
Get out of here.
Now that he's on the Jaguars, he's like the second receiving option.
Yeah, freaking rookie quarterbacks, and they're tossing it to those young.
Because didn't Laviska do once again nothing this week? He had 3 points. Yeah,
freaking
4
Laviska.
targets. Dan Arnold had 10 targets. Laviska had 4.
Those late round wide receivers murdering my teams right now.
It stinks
Unless
because
you got Pittman. Whoo!
Laviska's droppable in leagues, which is sad to say.
Yeah, but no, I don't see any other tight ends.
I would say Dan Arnold. I'd say Logan Thomas and Dan Arnold. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. You buying in on Dan Arnold?
I'm not putting any money on him, but I mean,
you dropped all your waiver budget for Dan Arnold. No, you did.
I definitely did not.
You got that? You're trying to spell me off that waiver claim.
Yeah, I'm putting 150 on Dan Arnold.
Anyway,
tight end 1.
Thanks for listening to the Waiver Wire Show. We got some good stuff coming up this week. Depending on how busy the trade deadline is, we might have a trade deadline particular show. So be sure to check that out. We'll talk to you tomorrow, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.